Which is the better growth stock to buy, Palantir Technologies or C3.ai? I'm going to answer that question looking across a few different metrics in this video. So let's get right into it. Starting with the price change in 2022, surprisingly, both of these companies were down 64% in 2022. That's an interesting coincidence there. So now let's look at revenue growth between C3.ai and Palantir. And what we see here is each of their revenue growth has been trending downward. Still, Palantir has the advantage with 21.86% revenue growth versus just 7.11% for C3.ai. And over the last 2 or 3 years, Palantir has had the advantage in revenue growth for most of the quarters, except for a brief moment here when C3.ai had the higher revenue growth. Next, I wanted to look at cash flow from operations, and looking at this metric, I see Palantir with 47 million in cash flow from operations in its most recent quarter and several quarters of positive cash flow from operations. Meanwhile, C3.ai only really had one quarter in positive cash flow from operations, and then it trended all the way downward, and it's been negative in terms of cash flow from operations, 52.59 million in its most recent quarter, and the trend is downward, which is not good news for C3.ai stock investors. Next, let's look at the operating margin trailing 12 months for Palantir and C3.ai. Looking at Palantir, after an initial dip in 2020, its operating margin has been trending upward, although it is negative 11%. Meanwhile, C3.ai's operating margin trended upward for a while and then had a significant decline of negative 92.33%. Very bad for C3.ai stock investors, and again the advantage goes to Palantir Technologies in this metric. So far Palantir Technologies has outperformed C3.ai in the three critical metrics that I looked at. So finally, let's look at valuation and see how different they are. I expect Palantir Technologies to be more expensive than C3.ai here. Let's see if investors and the market agreed with me. And yes, they did. Looking at the price to sales ratio, Palantir Technology is trading at a price to sales of 10.2 compared to a price to sales of 8.8 for C3.ai. What you see, both of these stocks have been coming down significantly in terms of their valuation as investors have lost their appetites for unprofitable growth stocks that are growing their top line but not finding profitability. So C3.ai used to trade at a price to sales over 75, where Palantir was at a price to sales over 45. Now they're down to 10.2 and 8.8. Regardless, if I had to pick one of these two growth stock as the better stock to buy right now, I would say Palantir Technologies is the better stock to buy. It is more expensive than C3.ai, but I believe, looking at the critical metrics we did in this video, that it has earned its premium valuation. So there you have it. Palantir Technologies, the better growth stock to buy here. That's all I've got for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.